Of our medium anime breast tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to look at two different positions here, our sort of jumping for joy celebratory pose, as well as just a pose where she's kind of pressing both breasts together with her arms. That way we can see the shapes that they kind of get morphed to, because the mass has to go somewhere, so it'll be good to see how it interacts with objects. So, we're just going to start with our shoulder line, sketch in our center line, as well as the rib cage. And I kind of bring this shape in, though it got a little too wide. Then we'll follow that down to our waist, cross this off. So this time, we want the arms to be coming in. And again, I'm going to have one arm coming inside, but here near the outside of the ribs here, whereas this arm is going to be coming in at a much more aggressive angle. So that way you can kind of see how they're going to interact. We'll put in our collarbone, and our neck, and our traps. There we go. So, this time there's a lot more breasts to work with, so everything's going to be a little bit more exaggerated. So for starters, we're really going to push this one like this. So it's got a lot of weight getting squeezed on, as well as we're going to have part of it underneath, like so. But since this one on this side is being pressed a lot firmer, this is going to take precedence over this chest here. So we're going to just push it over top of the other one. So it's really squeezing, like so. And then we can just raise this line a little bit, like this. And then in the actual line art portion, that will look a little bit easier to follow. Kind of increase the size of this one over here, like that. Next, we want to look at our jumping pose. So, center line, and this time we're going to have the shoulder line angled upwards. Put in our rib cage, connect like this, waistline, like so. Shoulders are going to be kind of on this middle part of our lines that we dropped in here. And then following this rib line, we're going to connect the chest muscles right here. From that, we're going to connect our lats just behind it, so just coming off from the ribs here, straight up. We don't want our lats too big, because this isn't like a bodybuilder character. But just enough to hold everything in. From there, we'll put our arms coming up like this. So just like our previous tutorial, this little chest line here, we're going to follow that into this bicep shape. And then we're going to follow the tricep down before it bumps into this little pit section. Do the same over here. Now I really want our shoulders to be squeezing. So this is going to stay quite rounded, like so, into our collarbone. There. Then we want our neck. And the traps are going to be much higher than we would normally draw them, since they are pulling everything up. I just want to make sure this is at least somewhat even. This side has to actually come out a little bit more. There we go. Alright. So, the chest line will still be here. But this time, since she's jumping, the weight of the chest is going to be way up above the actual, this line here. So this time, what I like to do for our characters who have slightly larger chests is I'm going to start down here. So this is the bottom where it's connected, what we usually don't see, because this is just underneath the boob while it's lying down. From there, I'm gonna draw this shape. Up, and I'm not gonna bring them way past the middle line here, because their chest isn't big enough for that. So I'm just keeping this shape like so. So the chest is basically going up, right? So if the front part of the chest is right here, over on this side, that front part is facing upwards like this. And so I'm just gonna tighten up this one. And because it's a very, very, very soft, squishy substance here, we want to make sure that it is wrapping around the rib cage, right? Like the rib cage isn't going to move for the breast, but the breast has to move for the rib cage because it's soft and squishy. So now we will do our line art and then review. So first I'm going to start with this breast because it's up above the other one. I'm going to draw in my arm like so. I'm going to kind of make this a little bit better. There we go. Next, we will add in the main mass here. Just a nice strong line here, kind of bringing it back, kind of like a water balloon being squeezed on. Same with this one. It's kind of eating this arm, like this. And then connects so they're vaguely the same size here. And this center line like so. Put in our neck, traps. We're going to see more of the ribs on this side because this arm is pushed in further than on the other. And our center line, like so. Oh, you'd see kind of a bump. There we go. From here, we can drop in these shapes, like so. Then we want to just see barely this little chest muscle here, followed by the pit and the lat, like so. Then some firm shoulders, since they are contracting here, followed by some high traps, like so. Alright, so in review, since this chest right here is being squeezed a lot harder than the other one, it's going to kind of take precedence over this one, so that's why it's over top. All the mass has to go somewhere, so it's just going to be pushed away from the arm, but it's also going to be sunk into just because it's so soft. So you're just trying to keep them to be generally the same size. They'll appear slightly bigger, but that's because they're just kind of puffing, you know, out every which direction around the object that is squeezing against it. So you have the hard object here, the arm. So the chest is squeezing out and around it like this, right? So then down here, we just have a larger chest. So this time, instead of just a little line like this, like on our small chest, it's actually going to be moving around the rib cage. Then it curls up nicely into a little point, like slight little point, still rounded like this, because the breast is coming out and up in this jumping position. So it's gonna, the tops of it here, right here, are gonna rise above our shoulder line. So normally the chest would be down like this, but because she's jumping, the top is coming above that line. So that wraps up our medium anime breast tutorial. Hopefully you found it helpful, and I will see you in the next one.